and discharge into the river. And so pressure's been on Ascension with all of the growth, the discharge. Now, I'm looking at some different avenues to do some things other than just say one big, huge plant. There's some new technology out that maybe could have several smaller plants that would have a better discharge. And right now, I haven't even looked at the plan, but I'm understanding we only got one bid on the project.
So there's some information in the paper about it coming towards the end of this term, and maybe or maybe not going into next term as a decision. It sounds like it might go into next term.
So this is a huge project. It's up to that sitting council right now, and I haven't heard a whole lot out of them on it. They're studying it right now, but
It's still in the study phase.
this is a huge project, and you can't charge the residents $100 a month for sewer. You know.
Mr. Coleman?
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
When Kenny talks about sewage to the city of Gonzales, parish doesn't have our own individual systems here, whether it's a subdivision or whether it's private individual MODAD. We don't have parish-wide sewer. So that's the conversation that's taking place in the parish, is whether we do a public-private partnership. But what concerns me is none of these negotiations have been in public or transparent, okay? Hard for me to comment on something that I have no knowledge on, and I'm a candidate digging for every piece of information that I can get, much less citizens understanding what's going on, okay? What upsets me is, as long as we've been talking about parish-wide sewer, we got a sewer treatment plant at Lamar-Dixon that could be upgraded to take close to 50,000 customers, run it down Highway 30, link it into 73, run it north, and connect it into the north end of the parish. Okay, we could secure the $60 million loan and do that, and then parish government would be control over user fees and hookup fees. If we do a public-private partnership, we don't know what we're getting, and y'all will be charged for it. You're going to be charged for the hookup fee. You're going to be charged whatever they deem necessary to pay. That's what happens when you bring a private firm into a $500 million project. And so it's important for me to ensure that whatever happens here, and I'm glad that they're putting it off because I want to know what's going on and what these fees are going to be and what these hookups and what is the best route for us to take. Because that $60 million loan is sitting out there. And from what I understand and what I've been told, there's a time constraint involved with that $60 million. And we have been unable as parish government to get the ball rolling in order to move on it, in order to secure that $60 million. If we miss that, then we're forced, no option, forced to take a private-public partnership, and we will get the brunt of whatever the hookup fees are, whatever the monthly fees are, and we're going to be stuck. And so, you know, I can't answer it because I don't know. I haven't been privy to the information, and neither have you. And so it's hard for me to answer that public-private partnership scenario.
It's very interesting though, because it looks like one day it could be something really big.
I think the committee is the only one that has the information. I guess the whole council has it. I don't have it. When I went to DEQ and got it up there to 62 million, and I saw it wasn't going to happen, got out of utilities, and do a lot of other different things for the parish. I went to the city of Gonzales and I said, we got to be crazy not to get some of this money, so we got 15.2. Now, in the process of all of this,
You said it was like 0.08%?
0.098, so but they studied, several engineers studied the Lamar-Dixon plant, which is we were running that, we were putting dog food in to run it because they didn't have any substance, So I went to Mr. Martinez to run a line to the MP Evans property and back to the plant. I mean, from the MP Evans property to the plant, which could have handled that whole complex. It would have stayed in the parish, and then back to 44, and we have an intergovernmental agreement with the city to be in the discharge line until you get to 75%, and then you'd have to go in your own pipe to the river. We could have expanded on that, but they never moved on it.
So it does have
but no matter who does that project, it's very complex.
That place at Lamar-Dixon does have some capacity there?
Well, yes, it does. It does. But
Okay.
the engineer built it for like all the animal waste and all that, and you don't put animal waste in these plants. So that's why it was built so good.
Needs more,
But,
if you did the whole parish, it'd have to be something bigger than it sounds like. Not
You're
just-
gonna have to have
Well, no,
multiple
you
plants.
can't. You can't do the whole plant. I mean, I don't know how many houses, they got it all engineered out, how many houses it could take, maybe 1,200 or something like that.
It's a good start.
But the way that the private-public partnership, the 62 million would not buy, you can't buy customers. You can put pipe in the ground and you can build plants. That's what I do know about, that's what we do in the city, exactly. But to actually buy the customers, you need to pay the bills to fuel the thing. That's where the private-public partnership came in, because we don't own any customers other than, I don't know, about 1,000 customers or so, 1,200 maybe. Those 5 little plants the parish had. The parish ended up with them because people abandoned them.
Gotcha.
I want to set regulation to ensure any new subdivision that the plan is turned over to the parish. We have to start a customer base, and that's what we don't have. If we buy out Tom Pertwee, if we make, and rumors where the deals were done and all that, I don't know. I haven't seen anything, I just hear rumors about it. But once, if we would acquire the largest provider, then we would be essentially in the business, have a billing department, have the infrastructure necessary to move forward, and then secure the 60 million. But we have to start looking at it from a grander scheme as these new subdivisions having these private plants. Well, we need to take those over in order to increase our customer base. And then we have some control over it, because these private individuals, and when I talk to people in the subdivision, say, I can't stand the smell. Well, the parish can't do anything about it because we don't own it. That has to change. So that's a step, but you have to start making incremental steps towards a larger picture. But it's going to take some time. But I'm just afraid that if we don't have control over it, the citizens are going to take the brunt of what they get, which is the user fee.
Originally, when we started looking at doing parish-wide sewer, the law was in there for companies to turn over the plants to the parish. The parish wasn't ready to accept them, so they didn't do it. And most contractors would rather give it to the parish than give it to a private company. Because the way it was done when they built your subdivision, whoever's the maintenance guy built the plant, he paid for it, and then you pay to keep it running. You know, like I said, you know, the parish
It's
could be
extra.
running those, so you already own it.
Right.
So it's the situation.
About another question. I got a question. You talked about multi-million-dollar road projects and sewer projects. Let's start with something a little easy. Let's start with something cleaning up the parish. You got grass at the intersection, 1.5 feet tall, growing between the cracks. You got trash in the open ditches. You got illegal signs up and down all over the place. You got illegal dumping on the back roads. They got chairs and couches and mattresses. You know, you talk about millions of dollars on roads. What does it take to get the parish cleaned up first? Because, you know, when you go someplace and you see that, that's the first thing that's the first impression. And they say, well, what else is wrong? What else is going on? Where's the cancer in the parish? So what's your plan on that?
Well, this year when we were in St. Lafayette Parish, they won an award for putting together just what you're talking about. They had to get all the entities in the schools to buy in, to get everybody. You gotta educate the kids. Like the other day, I'm going down the road, and this Donald bag comes out the window. No. But it's more than that. I agree with you on the parish employees. Yeah. I understand that part of it, but the couches on the side of the road and throwing this out the window. But I was behind this car, and this lady threw a McDonald's bag out the window. Now, there's a kid going to school. What does he think? It must be all right to do that. So what I mean is this big picture with the whole deal. The grass is one thing, but the garbage and the couches and all those things is another.
Yeah, because I used to, when we lived in Tennessee, I worked for Keep Tennessee Beautiful, and I worked for a small county, and we went into the classrooms and taught the kids how to take care of the water, how to take, don't throw anything in the water because it ends up, it never goes away. Cigarette litter, that's litter too, and I taught them all how to take care of the community. And it does start in when they're very small, because if they see your parents throwing stuff out of the window, like, when I first moved back here, this lady said, her daughter said, well, Mom, you throw stuff out of the window? I mean, they just think, I was pulling down signs the other day by Regions Bank, and everybody was clapping at the light.
Yeah,
because
can't we get some support
I
from
mean,
maintenance?
it's like all on the
Do
telephone.
something?
It's against the law to put it on the telephone pole.
Well, that's the state road you're talking about.
Right.
It's been years since I've seen the state clean telephone poles.
Was whoever is working this area, they clean it off. I don't know who, because
It's
I
an
called and
individual private
complained.
owner.
Who's that?
It's an individual private owner. I talked to him the other day.
Yeah, they're always cleaning that little corner right there, but I was trying to pull them off, but they start putting them up real high. I'm gonna take some, what we
Spray
used to
paint.
do, is we take some paint, spray paint, and just spray paint the sign.
Let's talk about solutions. Okay, that's kind
Yeah,
of
let's
what I
talk about the
Yeah,
grass on
we
the
need
Airline
to.
Highway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the median.
Let's start with litter and then we'll move to that. It's going to be, the programs in the schools are an excellent idea. The unfortunate thing is the transit worker, the one that doesn't live here, the one who care less, they're going to throw out litter. We're going to have litter, okay? We're not going to eliminate that, so we're going to talk about what the solutions are to that. I want to work with the judicial system to ensure some of these misdemeanor, non-felony offense, that they repay our community by trash pickup, okay? And we don't have to pay the sheriff's office to conduct with criminals, because we often do that currently. Okay, so there's no reason why we can't do that. Adopt the road programs, let's get the schools, let's get the Boy Scouts involved. Let's have the parish get in, and boats can go and clean our canals. We have some of the most beautiful waterways that they've got refrigerated, trash bags, dead end. It's just horrific. And usually they're all piled up by a bridge, which is a drainage obstruction. So, you start with those items. Let's talk about sign litter, which is exactly what you're talking about. We have ordinances. We don't enforce them. We have ordinances. We don't enforce them. That's right. So let's say we start taking up signs. Well, let's charge these people $2 to get the sign back. And all of a sudden, when we start costing them money to advertise, then they'll stop doing it. But we have to take an enforcement to follow our current ordinances and to do that. And as far as grass cutting, that really needs to be set up in a regimented fashion. Too many times I have citizens tell me, or I witness it myself, that they'll cut 1,000 feet and then they'll park the tractors and then that's it. There's a lack of accountability somewhere in there. Okay, we're not getting the necessary bang for our buck, let's say. Okay, so we really got to look at that as far as that's the accountability in the regiment scenario, or what it's going to take to make sure that grass gets cut on a regular basis and don't get 3 feet tall.
I have a question.
What problem is we don't have adequate garbage?
Yeah, we don't have trash pickup in the parish.
Roofs are going up to $20 a month, and we're paying over $30, and they hardly pick anything up.
Well, there's a difference. We're under a private system, okay? What we don't have as far as a private individuals is recycling, which we had a recycling company offer this
We have the
service.
recycling.
Right.
Everything flies
Right.
out.
And then we have, but we don't have bulk item pickup. And I think that we can institute that at a parish level, and we can use, whether it's the iPhone, which we all carry our computers on our hips these days, or you can log into your computer at home, or you can simply call them. And we can have regimented pickups for sofas and everything else to help hopefully eliminate bulk dumping and end-of-the-road dumping and those type of scenarios. I believe that's good. And I think it's a service that's needed. And so what I don't want to do, and Baton Rouge tax system, the way it's set up is you don't pay it necessarily directly, but you do pay it in the tax system. So that monthly bill is not the only thing you're paying for that service in general, and I don't want to get into the Baton Rouge tax system, but you are paying, you are paying a higher fee than that monthly fee in Baton Rouge. But what I don't want to do is limit your choice. Let's say that you're happy with your garbage service. You can pick them up and call and get them in the garbage service. And you can change. And that's your right. And I don't want to take that from you, because I want you to choose the best company possible for your need, whether that's pick up twice a week, once a week, or whatever be the case. I don't want to take that right from you and me dictate what garbage company you have to use.
I agree with that, but what we could do is say, okay, what do y'all want? You want recycling? You want this? You want bulk pickup? And we put that in the put that out there. And all of those companies that you're using now can come up with, say, we want this in Ascension Parish. If they want to do business in Ascension, then they will comply. I'm not saying what company to get either.
But under this system, not everybody even gets garbage pickup. Some people.
Well, let me tell you what, okay. You know, one of the things I do is I work with the health department for the parish, which is the health, not the state runs the restaurants and all that kind of stuff. And the sewer, and all that's policed by the state. And one thing is like the garbage, they have to pass an ordinance that everybody needs to have garbage collection. And that's a big thing. I mean, the state guys that I work with, they try to press people to get a contract, but we don't have that ordinance in Ascension. So we need to move on.
I have a question, and it's about trash pickup too. Whenever we had people who had a lot of limbs in their yard or something like that, we contacted the parish to see if we could schedule a one-day pickup, and they said no. The only time they would do that would be after a major event, a hurricane or something like that. So that's why we probably have a lot of litter. People don't have anywhere to take an old refrigerator or couch or something. How come they have it in the city limits but not in the rest of the parish? Couldn't do it in Santa Monica, can't do it here.
Well, you know, in the city, the tax is structured, it pays for all of that. For example, in the city, you don't pay extra for your garbage pickup. Residential, commercial does. We did that years ago when we implemented a new fire department, which paid fire department, and then we went into the ambulance service and all that, which I implemented that because Katie was going a couple calls a month, over 20 minutes, which we told them after over 7 minutes was way too much. And so now we have like 3.5 minutes, but that's another thing. But the garbage is all built into, you pay the tax one way or the other. And one thing, like Clint was saying, in Baton Rouge, there's tax structure. People pay into the sewer, but they pay it 3 other ways into it, or 4 other ways. We haven't, if we had water in Ascension, if we own the water system, that's how communities usually put community sewer in. But we didn't, we missed the boat on that because Baton Rouge Water ran on the water, so we had mercy on them on that part. You make money on water, you lose money on sewer.
Back to trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't have both. And the
Parish-wide.
sad part is they do that already for certain individuals.
Let's talk taxes for a second. I know I feel that we here on the north end of the parish pay a lot more taxes because we got a lot more subdivisions, whatever, and the money goes to the other end of the parish, we never see our benefit. But I'm curious, Kenny, you say you lower taxes by 30% in the city of Gonzales, but did you not also vote for higher taxes when Tanger moved into the parish in that certain district? Or how did you lower taxes by 30%?
Well, when Tanger came in, that was a deal that was done with the city and the state, coming Edwin Edwards, which I wasn't on the council back then when they came in. And, you know, that deal was done back then. And at one time, the city of Gonzales had the luring tax was 31 mills. It's 8.55 right now. You know, now we did a tax when we went to full-time firemen, and y'all went to full-time firemen, right? In this district, y'all in Burrillville district, right? Firemen, so y'all get a millage tax on your fire. Well, in the city, we went. What was happening? The sheriff was expanding his tax base, so he was going a half-cent sales tax. And what we did in the city, we asked the people, do you want a full-time fire department? Yes. Do you, you know, so we put a half-cent sales tax for public safety, for the new sewer plant, and then for sanitation, which is garbage and all that. So that we show the people this is what we're doing with our money every year, and it pays those things for you.
I guess my question was, how did it decrease 30%? How was tax decreased 30%?
How is it?
Just in Gonzales?
How did you decrease taxes 30%?
I was there, we didn't increase it, so it decreased. You know, like when the councilman vote to roll it forward, we didn't roll it forward, so that's a decrease.
So you never actually decreased, I mean, if you played with the numbers, it decreases 30%, but taxes were never decreased 30%.
They were just not increased.
It's decreased 30% because we didn't accept the 30%. We did it for years, and then we said, we got to stop at 8.55 because we got to pay for it. We
You
got to
didn't
pay for it.
increase to 30%, so you count that as a decrease? That's how government works. If you have a 30% increase plan and you only increase government by 15%, your famous
No, I
saying
didn't- we didn't
is, we
increase
cut
it.
spending by 15%.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, like this year it comes up that you roll it forward for 4%, and we didn't do that. Then we did this, then we did that. And then one year we said we had 8.55, we said we got to stay, we got to roll it over to 8.5.
So it would be 38.55 if you didn't.
Probably, but I mean, you know, that's the lowest in the parish for sure, at the room tax.
Does anybody here know really in depth where your tax dollar goes here in Central Parish?
No.
Has it ever been presented to you, the parish government, to go into depth where your tax dollars go?
Louder.
Just a little
So you know
breakdown.
all of what the Central Parish government is responsible for?
You get the.
Library, school.
It does, it's your property tax, how would you know how the sales tax is in?
Just property.
No, that's right. So, and do you know when you write that check, do you know where it goes and how it's spent?
Well, just from looking at the millage.
Just
Yeah.
left, percentage-wise, right? Right.
Schools.
I want to ensure that I will have the transparency that you will know where your tax dollars go as a whole, where your tax dollars go down into the departments of each department of parish government. Okay, that's important to me. That's part of my oath to having transparency. And then we're going to discuss how that money is being spent in each department. I told every councilman, and I wasn't endorsed by any of them, I told I will compromise on everything. We can talk about roads and doing something different here. We can talk about drainage and doing something here. We can talk about parks. We can manipulate this and do this. I will not, under any circumstance, compromise on transparency. You will know for the first time ever where your parish tax dollars go, in depth. And that's a double-edged sword for me. It's a double-edged sword because then I get to get criticized. It's worth it to me to ensure we know exactly where our tax dollars go, not even from a property tax standpoint, but also from a sales tax, from every tax standpoint. We will discuss it in depth so every citizen knows exactly what their tax dollars, when they write that check at the end of the year, when you fill up with gas, or whether you at the convenience store getting popped in a Snickers bar, you will know where your tax dollars go. And I will be accountable for that. But we will have it for the first time ever in Central Parish.
You talk about public safety. For just a minute.
Sure, absolutely.
We live in a really nice area. And this, in many ways, it's a dream come true to be where we're at. You know, but we do have our own small issues. Public safety is one of them. We've had some break-ins over the last couple of years. And just ask them, you know, if every one of you guys on Sunday is present, just keep in mind the parish patrols in the area, maybe try to keep them coming, especially on like Fridays and Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Because it's rare.
One thing I'm gonna do is, and it's never been done before, all our agencies gonna meet every month. Already talked to the sheriff, the school board, the assessor, clerk of court. We all gonna meet to know what the right hand's doing, what the left hand's doing. Like, for example, just what you're saying, well, Sheriff, I'm getting calls over in this area, what's your patrol in there? He's got records on it, you know, so he say, well, you're right, I need to beef it up over there, or whatever. But when it's like, for example, when they want to build a school over here, the sheriff might say, well, security's not good over there. Parents might say, the roads are too narrow getting to it. And so you got to talk over things before you actually do things. Now, my big thing is if you're going to build a school, have enough property, have all the costs off the highway. If not, put your $4 million in there for that turn lane. for your people to come in to pick up the kids. I mean, that's a traffic problem right there.
Well, there's two bigger concerns within our neighborhood are speeding and break-ins. And you got people in this room that have had their property broken into.
So let's get back to public safety. We seem we got off track there. I'm going to be honest with you, and that's what you want to hear, right? You want to hear the truth? I'm not going to tell the six-term sheriff what he needs to do. We'll work hand in hand with him to ensure that he gets the information that I receive from my constituents. Nobody's going to tell Jeff Wiley what to do. I can just tell you right now. Okay? And so I will work hand in hand with the sheriff to give him everything that he needs from a parish standpoint to do whatever he can do. And we can identify those issues. But over tremendous amount of growth, I think the sheriff's department and the school board have done a tremendous job in handling this growth. I think Ascension Parish government has lacked in developing and changing with fresh ideas and solutions in order to combat these issues. But the school board and the superintendent are feeling the same growing pains as the sheriff, a tremendous job. It is part of the growing pains. I will assist the sheriff in any way possible, but you're not going to step on the sheriff's toes, and that's just the honest to God truth.
Thank y'all for having me tonight. I have 2 more engagements to go to. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
I'll stay and answer any questions. I encourage you, please. The harder the better.
Well, we know you can't do anything about the sheriff's department, but it is rare to see a deputy drive through our neighborhood. Car gets broken into, 10 cars get broken into. They'll come